Hello, everybody. I'm Jaret Reddick, and this is a podcast. Jaret Goes to the Movies. Hopefully you have seen or heard one of my many musical endeavors. And if you have, then you know how much I love movies. This is movie commentary with no movie knowledge. This podcast is me and my friend Rich talking about movies that we like. But my name's on it because I'm famous. This is Jaret Goes to the Movies. Still. Okay, we're starting now.
Not all of us can storm a beach or drive a tank or be a rock star with a podcast. Patreon.com. Each time you donate, it's like putting a string on Jaret's guitar. Jaret. Jaret. Jaret.
Yay! That's me. I'm the Star-Spangled Man with the plan. I like that. That was a nice surprise. Well, what's funny is that started, and I didn't really remember there being a voiceover in that. I was like, God, that sounds like Rich.
There actually is a voiceover. He does his little spiel about buying bonds for bullets
and
stuff. Yeah, and so I found the song on YouTube without his voice
Very
in there.
cool.
Yeah.
Very good, Rich. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jaret, and welcome to another episode of Jaret Goes to the Movies. Today we'll be talking about Captain America, the First Avenger in 2011. With me, as always, is Rich.
Hello.
Rich had a nap before the show.
I did.
Showed up late, came in, his hair's all curly. It's like, I don't know if you're in like the best spot ever, or if shit's just gone to shit. So it just, I don't know. You look well rested though now.
I am.
You had puffy eyes when you got in here though. I was a little worried.
Yeah, they go away, I guess.
How you been? What's going on? Anything exciting happening?
Good. Yeah, just a bunch of drama.
The Pulp Fiction episode came out, and we've had some great emails, some great feedback on that.
Awesome.
It was great to have our good friend T.C. Fleming from The Ticket on as well. What do you mean drama? Wait, I missed that. I stepped right over that. What kind of drama's going on?
It's leftover from last week.
Leftover drama from last week is still going on, and I don't have a song to surprise you with.
That's all right.
But I feel like maybe the song that you just surprised me with made you just as happy because you lit up like a fucking firecracker. Just so proud of yourself over there doing the hand motions and everything.
I wanted to give something back.
Well, I do appreciate that. I may have a surprise or two for you in the near future, and I think that kind of stuff makes the show fun. It's if this is your first time to listen to Jaret Goes to the Movies, welcome. This is our 29th episode. Is that right? 28th or 29th?
This would be 27?
Okay, that's what I meant. 27. Yeah, you're exactly right. 27. I had to double check. I had to fact check your ass. This is our 27th episode, and man, it's been fun. We've been doing this since late last year. Each week we talk about a movie. It started out being movies that I like, and Rich somehow started getting his own ideas in. And so as you dig through the catalog of podcasts that you can find here, you'll notice that there's some that just you're like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like
no sense.
That'll be a Rich episode.
Well, the reason we're doing this one this week is because we've got the big Captain America Civil War that's out today. As you're listening to it, it's out in theaters today. And so we're doing this one to help the people at ABC, Disney.
Sell their movie.
Yeah,
and you know what? We do that a lot. We do try to do some things timely. I do believe next week we're going to be doing Purple Rain. Is that right? And in memory of Prince, and we'll be talking through that movie and going through our experiences with those songs and talking about that. But again, if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. You can find out more about us by going to jaretgoestothemovies.com. If you're interested in even more content than what you see there, click on support, and you can find your way right into that. Let's talk about Captain America, for crying out loud. Captain America, the First Avenger, 2011. Steve Rogers, which is I'm wondering this. Is that his actual name? Because he had changed his name like 5 times, and so it came back to that.
What do you mean he changed?
Well, he was going into different army.
Oh, right. No, that's different his
army
real
stations.
name, birth name. Yes.
So Steve Rogers, a rejected military soldier, transforms into Captain America after taking a dose of a super soldier serum. Man, I'm glad he didn't have super soldier semen. That would be... He just got a dose of the super soldier semen. It just shot him right through the wall. It looked like he was fucking vomiting some of the shit that the Ghostbusters shoot out of their fucking cannons.
Yeah, no.
But being Captain America comes at a price as he attempts to take down a warmonger and a terrorist organization. So are you with me, though? Don't you feel like... this movie is 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And I realize that these are super big budget and I think there's a lot of story to tell because these are, you're not a comic book guy or you are, I forget.
I would have loved to have been. I just was never able to buy a bunch of comic books.
Right. So, but you're invested in these stories a little bit, so you do know.
I think that the superhero sci-fi thing is a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah.
Especially big blockbuster movie type stuff.
Agreed. And especially when they're heroes of, because every kid, like I've said this before, every kid likes Spider-Man, every kid likes Superman, it's just, that's a whole thing. So, I don't really remember even knowing anything about Captain America. In fact, when we had a guitar tech on the road with us named Lil Bobby Donovan, give him a shout out. He was the biggest comic book nerd ever. And he literally talked about this kind of shit nonstop. And he still does. I mean, like the stories and all this. And so, I didn't know that really, I mean, is Captain America a superhero?
Yes.
Well, I mean, he's strong and fast.
Right.
I mean,
he could still die.
But he is. Yeah, he's mortal.
He's hard to kill. Obviously,
yeah. Okay.
Based on the end of this movie.
Who was in the movie Hard to Kill?
That's Jean-Claude
Van Damme, yeah.
Or Hard Target? No.
He was Hard to Kill. I think Hard to Kill is Steven Seagal.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
It's hard to kill the image of Steven Seagal once you get him in your head. Have you ever noticed that? Like you're going to be going to sleep tonight and you're already worried about sleeping, and Steven Seagal just going to be sitting there in your head going, "Rich, you going to try to go to sleep, man?" I love
Steven Seagal.
Did you?
I was totally into him with his first movie. What was that one called?
Hard to Kill.
Lethal Betrayal or something.
Lethal
that was
Injection.
The movie I was in. Never mind. No, I can't remember the name of it, but I thought it was really good. It was like, oh my God. Because he was a different type of martial artist. He just walked right through 20 guys.
Yeah. Starring in this movie is Chris Evans, Haley Atwell, Tommy Lee Jones. I fucking love Tommy Lee Jones. I do feel like a lot of times I want him to clear his throat. Like, I feel like he has, there's a bunch of buildup in the back
sure.
there.
Yeah.
But Tommy Lee Jones is awesome. Stanley Tucci, is that right?
Yeah.
And Hugo Weaving. And, of course, motherfucking Samuel L. Jackson, who is finds his way. One of the most educational things that has happened for me in doing this podcast is first of all, finding out that Samuel L. Jackson, his movies add up to be he's the top grossing actor of all time if you put his movies all together. And that's because he just finds his way into everything.
Yeah.
The guy's he just kind of fits into everything, somehow.
He's
makes
a hard
it work.
worker. You gotta give it to him for that.
Now, one thing that popped up on my Facebook feed today, Samuel L. Jackson is one of about 9 actors that says if Donald Trump is elected president, he's going to leave the country.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, and so how many of...
He's going to go to Vancouver because that's where they do all the movies anyway.
Is that what he says his plan is?
No.
Okay, see, you're on fire today. I can't really tell. I mean, which is good. I like it. Anyway, so I guess I'm looking at that list, and really there's the one young girl from the Cosby Show who's on the Talk Now or something like that.
The list of people that are leaving.
Raven Simone. We can do without her.
Oh yeah,
100%. Whoopi Goldberg, I think, is on there. Totally, it's fine. Whatever.
We won't have The View. Darn.
Yeah, that's right. That's fine with me. I haven't liked that since Meredith left anyway.
Right.
Miley Cyrus. How do you feel about that?
Oh God, no.
No. Have you seen naked pictures of her?
Yeah, no, it's not good.
You don't like it?
No.
You don't?
Stop.
Do you feel like Justin Bieber looks like a lesbian Miley Cyrus?
Yes.
Are you going to stay in the country if Trump gets elected president?
I most likely would stay in the country.
I don't give a shit who's president. I'm staying right here. I've been everywhere around the world. This place rules. People need to just fucking stop it.
Chill out.
You don't even know how good we have it until you go
said that
some
about
places in the world.
Bush too, didn't they?
No, I think everybody likes... Oh, President, sorry. I thought you were talking about Bush. Because you know me. I love the Bush. I like it a lot.
No one left. Everyone said they were leaving. No one left.
Did people really say they were going to leave, though?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel honestly, man. Stupid. I feel like at this point, and again, I'm no Trump supporter by any stretch of the imagination, and not that I'm a supporter of anybody who's running against him either. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, they all suck balls.
Whatever. Yeah. Well, apparently Hillary doesn't. But that was a cheap joke, wasn't it?
It was
awesome. It came out before I fucking.
Everyone's nodding their heads right after you said, yeah, totally true.
And then I started to say, it came out before I knew what was happening. And that's what Bill probably said too. Ayo, ding, 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 ding.
Okay, so Steve Rogers. Can you picture a better Captain America than Chris Evans?
No, but again, I didn't. So the answer's no. But
right?
Like my picture of what Captain America was is he had that. When was he, the Justice League or whatever, in pictures of that, he has the little hood thing on,
Justice League is DC, this is Marvel.
Right, that's what I meant. So
totally different comic book.
Super Friends, maybe? Super Friends
is DC? That's
right.
Batman, Superman, Aquaman.
Wonder Woman, Green Lantern.
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow? Is that a guy?
Yeah,
there's
Green
a
Lantern.
TV
show called Green Arrow.
Is there
it's
really?
On right now. It's called Arrow, but
are you fucking serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
That's amazing. They had two green guys, and Superman's allergic to green. Well,
exactly.
That's fucking crazy. You know what I like about the superhero Captain America though is there's not a thing like that. You can't take away all of his toys. You can't sit him next to Kryptonite. It's just like he's just a dude who's a badass.
Right.
But that.
I think he's my favorite superhero.
What? Really?
Yeah,
ever?
Yeah. And here's why. He's everything that I like about Superman, but he has none of the shit that I hate about Superman.
Okay.
But from my understanding, he is Marvel's response to Superman.
Okay.
So DC is Superman, Captain America is Marvel. So Superman in the DC world is the wholesome, perfect, always does good, never does anything bad, and that's Steve Rogers in the Marvel universe. He's always wanting to do the right thing, the good thing. He'll sacrifice himself for it and that kind of thing. But he still is vulnerable. He could get shot. He could get his head cut off or whatever. Superman has like no vulnerabilities except for the one stupid vulnerability, which is kryptonite.
Right.
And it never is used the same way. It's like, if he's close to it, he can't do anything. But then if he's close to it, sometimes he can do stuff. It just drives me crazy.
Yeah, you've mentioned your hatred for the kryptonite thing before.
Yeah, it's terrible.
The other thing though is that Superman's an alien. He's got super eyesight and super hearing and all of that stuff.
He's just like all powerful. If he really had all those things, no one could touch him. He could fly faster than a speeding bullet. So before you even knew what was going on, you'd be dead.
Here's the thing, too. Also, like, if you had super hearing, wouldn't it just be super hearing all the time? Like, how could you be selected? You don't really...
in the TV shows and stuff, he learns to focus it. So it's almost like it's like a laser beam. He can point at stuff. Mm-hmm. But scientifically, it sounds ridiculous.
I do feel like Chris Evans is a great Captain America. I thought the CGI stuff was hilarious.
Did it freak you out? Oh, my God, that's a little dude, and that's him.
It took me a bit to actually realize that it was him. Like I thought, okay, well they just got somebody else to play him. Because Casey had sort of hinted to me that about this part of the story before. Because again, I took Jack to see the second one. So that's come up before that, he starts out as this kind of scrawny dude. I mean, he looks like a horse jockey, that's the same, that's him. But no, I mean, I thought it was really well done. I mean, very, very few instances was like, oh, I can see it, so obviously they spent a lot of time and money making that perfect.
They did every shot with him as that small character. They shot it 4 times from different angles and stuff. And they shot it with him as a regular sized person. And they shot it like the kid who was acting.
Right.
The body is some kid. And then what they call digital surgery. They stitch his face over the top of this kid during all the scenes.
Mm-hmm. And it just kind of stays.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for it, you can kind of see.
A couple of times.
Yeah. Still, when I was in the theater seeing this for the first time, I mean, I was blown away. I was just like, oh my God, that totally looks like him.
Yeah, it really does. That's the hard part. The really only unbelievable part then was really his voice because he had a deeper voice, big booming voice.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't pitch that up.
Pitched it up just a smidge. I mean, and you know what? I mean, maybe that's part of like making it even more, believable. I mean, the fact that it's already a little bit suspect that he comes out of the machine and his pants still fit. I mean, obviously the length comes up, but
Right.
but not so much in the waist category is fine.
Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell, I thought her intro scene was great. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, she's attractive. So is she in other stuff?
Yeah, well, she reprises this role in the ABC TV show called Agent Carter. She's on her second season of that show.
Oh, and so it is what, like a prequel or a...
It is after...
Okay, after he disappears. Movie. Okay.
And she's carrying on with the fight against Hydra in the late 1940s.
Gotcha. And yeah, because I started thinking about that. I guess they really couldn't have got back together at the end of the movie.
No.
Because...
Well, you see in Winter Soldier, spoiler alert, she's old in bed and he's visiting her. You maybe didn't make that connection.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah. So he's sitting there talking to her and she's all old and, on her deathbed, I guess.
Yeah. And, that was, that again, another really cool tie-in that I got a lot more info on that, obviously, watching this. Because, the Winter Soldier I'd seen, and to me, he's just like this really quiet bad guy.
Right.
Tommy Lee Jones, we already kind of talked about him. Love Tommy Lee Jones. Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, are you not familiar with his work? I mean, he was in Devil Wears Prada. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I did not see that.
That guy's amazing. He transforms for his roles.
Yeah, I definitely recognized him. I definitely know that I've seen him in other stuff for sure. The
first thing I saw him in was a TV show back in the 90s called Murder One. Okay. And he really impressed me in that show. Just his acting prowess, and then I always just notice him in all of his roles, and I love him. He's one of my favorite actors for sure.
Yeah, he definitely made this role his own. It was pretty awesome. Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, Matrix.
Hey, Hugo Weaving. I go weaving. We all go weaving. We're all going weaving. Yeah, so he's the Matrix guy, and I recognized him right off. And you were right about the amount that he can expand, because this is a completely different character than he had done in the past.
He took the role just because he could do, well, I wouldn't say just, but a big part of it was so he could do a German accent. Mm-hmm. He's always wanted to do a German accent.
He freaking nailed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Absolutely nailed it. Well, in our, so Bucky is not listed here. I thought we should at least give him a shout out.
I don't know him as an actor other than this role. Like, I'm sure he's been in other stuff, but I don't really know him, and I've seen his name, and it doesn't jump out at me as anything that I'm used to seeing.
Same. His name's Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
I definitely recognized him from other stuff, but obviously, most importantly, but he's on. He's in The Martian. He was in that big movie Black Swan.
I don't remember him in any of those movies either.
So yeah, I mean, he's just one of those dudes that he was in Hot Tub Time Machine, which is a favorite of Casey's.
I don't remember that either. God, that's so crazy. I just don't remember him in anything else.
But he's a fairly new actor. I mean, he's only been doing stuff since like 2003, so he's done pretty well for himself.
Well, he did good in this. I enjoyed his character in this movie. But do you remember how badass he was in Winter Soldier? I watched both this weekend. I watched them back to back.
Oh, you did?
Because I knew you had seen it, so I figured you might be mentioning the previous one, so I watched it again.
Well, I was kind of trying to put everything back together, because I took Jack to see it right when it came out, and that's been a few years ago, and I haven't seen anything since. But I do like that guy as being both.
And he's in Civil War. He's one of the main characters in Civil War, because that's what the whole Civil War is about. It's about Captain America's side of friends protecting Bucky from the Iron Man side. So you've got this whole group of people that are siding with Iron Man. You got a whole group of people that are siding Captain America, and they're having this civil war within S.H.I.E.L.D., within the group of superheroes about this Bucky character. So he's the center of all this.
Gotcha. So we'll get into how that all kind of ties together as we dive into the movie too. It was kind of nice. I had Casey just sitting there with me. She was kind of half watching, not feeling too great today, and she stopped everything and explained that aspect of things to me.
We start the movie in the Arctic Circle, I guess, and they find the downed plane that we later find out was the plane that he downed. So we kind of come full circle. What's the coldest place that you've ever been to? You've obviously traveled the world. Like, have you been to a place that cold before? Have you been to Alaska during winter or anything?
Been to Alaska. It was not during the absolute coldest part of winter, but toured Canada,
because Canada gets fucking
in the winter.
Real cold.
It was cold, man. It really was, and Gosh, man, I toured, Canada, probably that Canadian tour, maybe Alaska. I mean, we've had some cold times in the upper United States as well. I mean, don't let you can't really take a lot away from Chicago during the really really cold windy months. But what
about like Finland or?
We've never been to Scandinavia before. Always wanted to go.
Yeah, I do too. The fjords and shit. I want to see those.
All that shit. All of it.
Russia or anything?
We have been to Russia, but it was in the spring. It wasn't that bad.
Okay.
It's really gray. China's the same way. And most of the other times when we've been to any crazy countries, it's been in the summer.
I think that you are a man of great vision, and in this way we are much alike.
I am nothing like you.
No, of course, but what others see as superstition, you and I know to be a science.
What you seek is just a legend.
Then why make such an effort to conceal it?
So I kept wanting to say, Mr. America. What good is a shield if you're unable to speak?
What is that from?
That's where he sews his mouth up in the interrogation room when the Matrix.
Oh, that's right.
And his mouth sews shut.
That's right. Yeah. So this scene to me, it's kind of one of those things. I almost just wanted to bail as like, this is too much. It's too like Game of Thronesy almost, It's just like all of a sudden we've got Odin's this fucking thing from Odin, who and the only thing I really know about Odin is when Anchorman says "Sweet Odin's raven."
Well, you do know that Thor is in this universe.
Okay,
Thor is an Avenger,
right?
Thor is from the world where Odin rules. So Odin is Thor's dad.
Okay, so Odin is the god of war.
Right. So you haven't seen any of the Thor movies, obviously.
I have not, no.
Okay, I thought they were great. So that happened in a different part of the universe, which they sort of call the heavens, but it's just another universe, basically. And Thor is a big part of that, and he is tied into this universe, and that's why it's mixed into this whole storyline.
Right. It's definitely starting to, putting all of that stuff together, Look, I get it. I mean, I understand why all of this is so entertaining and the soap opera of all of it and all of this. But again, it's Game of Thrones. It's like all of these different worlds colliding and tying together, mm-hmm. And you have this person knows this person over here, and their worlds sort of touch, and that's what this is. And so yeah, I do find I'm starting to understand a lot more of it, because to me, a Spider-Man thing was a Spider-Man thing, and a Superman thing was a Superman thing, and now it's kind of
this is new. They haven't done this before. This Marvel universe, their big plan at the beginning when they did Iron Man was to start tying all of these movies together. So they had this big plan where they started with Iron Man, and then they did Captain America, and then they did the Avengers after the first Captain America, and then they started tying all these things together, and then they added the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's coming to a big head, which is going to be the Avengers 3, I think, where they all come together and fight the big baddie of Thanos.
But these comic books have already been written, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they're pulling from story. Like Civil War was a comic book from a long time ago.
That's right.
And they're pulling these stories.
Yeah, so this similar to the DC area, Batman versus Superman or whatever.
Right. That was a comic book. And yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
So you mentioned the Tesseract Cube thing from Odin. Much better when he opened the little box and the light shined. Yeah. Much better use of the light
than Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
but I just know what the thing was.
Did you think of that?
Of course I did. And he's just like, so in Pulp Fiction, he's just like,
is that what I think it is? Or
is that what I think it is? That's right. And so this deal was just like, hey, I wouldn't look at that if I were you.
Oh, and also in the Marvel Universe is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. television show. So there's a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. television show where they are constantly referencing things that happen in the movies that's happening around it. So like when on the Avengers, they destroy New York City, because the aliens come through some portal, and they mention all of that stuff in all of the Marvel TV shows and in the ones on Netflix, which are the Daredevil. They talk about it. They throw mentions to it and everything. So they like tie all of it together, which is awesome.
Is this Civil War thing? This is an Avengers movie?
The Civil War has all the Avengers in there, yeah. but it's a Captain America movie, but all the Avengers are in it.
But
so it's essentially
all of the Avengers at some point are going to be friends.
They're all friends now. The Civil War one is just a movie about shit goes bad in their little group.
Yeah.
They all take sides and have this battle between themselves. I'm sure at the end of it, they'll all make up, and then there'll be an Avengers part. A
lot of superhero making out.
Exactly.
And, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Sorry, son.
Look, just give me a chance.
You've been eligible on your asthma alone.
Is there anything you can do?
I'm doing it. I'm saving your life.
Yeah, so here is, again, where the voice doesn't quite match the body.
A little too deep.
But, at first, I didn't
sure
know.
They played with it.
I didn't know whether to laugh because it looked so odd and hilarious, but it also looked really real.
Right.
It just did.
It was surreal. It looked surreal. Yeah, for sure. So if we had a giant war right now, like a full, not just we're invading Iraq or whatever, but like China and Russia got together and are attacking us, would you enlist? Was that something that...
I'm 44 years old.
I'm just saying.
No, Rich. Whenever I was 18 when the first Iraqi war happened or whatever, and I honestly thought, okay, we're all going to Canada, and I was like, I've got asthma and knee problems, and none of us wanted to fucking go then.
That's what I'm saying. Don't take that as the example. Take World War II.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a big difference. We had all grown up with no war. There had been no war.
I know.
So
I said that before. We grew up in the 80s, and we just grew up without actual wars.
No, there was no war. It hadn't been anything since Vietnam was ending as I was born. Korea was ending, I think, right before that. So there was nothing, and then all of a sudden, we have the history books, and we're kind of looking back on that. And it's like fuck that, Whereas now the youth of today, they've grown up. My daughter's never lived a day on the planet where there wasn't war, which is an interesting thing. Where because I don't remember.
It wasn't the same kind of war. That's
Well, that's true. It was just World War II's and stuff. It was just like constant fighting every day, and all of this. Yeah. This is more of
the greatest generation basically fought that war.
Yeah,
I probably would. If it was huge, they're not going to take me.
Look, I think if everybody was going, if I'm 18 and it's that time and everybody's going and that's what you got to go do, and that's, sure. But again, that's what you did. You went and you fought for your country.
I was actually tempted at the 9/11 thing. I was I was 30, so it wasn't really that practical, but there was a temptation of fuck those motherfuckers,
You had
I had two kids that I had to support and all that.
You had a college degree?
No, not a degree.
Okay.
I went 2 years. That was it.
I knew a guy who enlisted as a 35-year-old dude. He was a psychologist and went in as a colonel.
Right.
And still to this day is just he spent pretty much the rest of his life over there.
And of course, my dad. I'm an Army brat, so my dad was in the military 25 years or 22 years or something like that.
Right. So back to the CGI aspect of things. When he's getting beat up after the movie theater or whatever, it's funny because he picks up the trash can lid, starts to use it as a shield.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Little foreshadowing.
Yep. What if I told you that in just a few short years, your automobile won't even have to touch the ground at all? Yes. Thanks, Mandy. With stock gravitic reversion technology, you'll be able to do just that.
So Casey had to stop it here and explain to me, pointed out, who I was looking at. That this is
Tony Stark's dad.
Tony Stark's dad, and he will end up creating Captain America, for lack of a better term. Then Tony Stark creates his own Iron Man,
right?
But Captain America is, obviously being, and then you find out, okay, he's our biggest weapons supplier, so where Tony Stark got all of his money,
exactly,
and all of that.
There's a lot of talk in Iron Man about his dad, who's played by this guy. He's also playing that same character in the Agent Carter on the TV show, which is awesome.
Okay,
his little character, guy. And then how he flirts with her on the airplane. He flirts with her in the show, and it's hysterical.
So the two actors both came from this, and they're doing that. Yep. Cool. Well, this is Howard actually Stark, where I've that's right, because I actually thought he said Howard Stern at first, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting shout out. This whole scene here is where it hit me that Bucky is Bucky. because he hadn't said his name at this point.
I guess.
And then I started to kind of figure out. And then he calls him Bucky. I'm like, oh shit, that's like the guy. Because again, I didn't really know on the Winter Soldier. Again, let's explain if you haven't figured out what I'm saying. I saw the second Captain America before I saw this one,
right.
So a lot of things are kind of just getting pieced back together in my head.
And where are the flying cars? We were promised flying cars, not from this
promised
movie.
That
even.
Forever.
Yeah, where are they?
Why
is
man?
It so difficult?
I feel like though that TV and movies did come through on a lot of shit though. I mean, we do like fucking have handheld things that we ask any question, and there's fucking food vending machines now. I mean, it's like that's all we wanted was just the Jetson shit. That's all I wanted.
They had flying cars.
Those weren't really cars. They were just fucking spaceships. They lived in space. I'm going to turn you on right now. All right. Well, let's welcome a couple of things to the show.
Oh, God.
Let's first of all welcome our good friend, new character on the show as of the last couple of weeks, Mr. Tim Toole, my neighbor.
Yo.
Hey, Tim, with your shaved head. Also, I just farted, and
God,
it is
horrible.
It is a bad one. We all like our own scent, don't
I'm
we?
breathing through my shirt.
That's a good idea. We call that Wonder Valve.
Wonder Valve?
Yeah, when we were in the Bowling for Soup days, we would all end up with the same shirt because we toured with the same bands all the time. And then so when the shirt thing would go up, we all had a Valve shirt on one day. And it was like, Wonder Valve, activate. And up it goes. So now if somebody lets a fart, they'll just be like, Wonder Valve, activate. And people just automatically go up with it.
How you doing, Tim?
Been better, but pretty good.
Fucking kids.
Fucking kids, yeah.
Wait, no, don't go around fucking kids. You can't do that. That's not even a thing.
You could be Speaker of the House.
Oh my God. What is
it? Disaster.
I don't know what happened with that.
Well, read your mother-in-law's post every once in a while. And you know.
Look, I know you don't think I can do this.
This isn't a back alley, Steve. It's war.
I know it's a war.
Why are you so keen to fight? There's so many important jobs.
What do you want me to do? Collect scrap metal
Yes.
in my little red wagon?
Why not?
I'm not going to sit in the factory, Bucky. Bucky, come on. There are men laying down their lives. I got no right to do any less than them. That's what you don't understand. This isn't about me.
Right. Because you got nothing to prove.
There is something to be said for being one of the last eligible men in the city of New York City. You know what I mean? Like, I actually thought about that when he told him, he's like, you're going to be one of the last eligible men here. And I thought to myself, that's not a bad thing to be, you know? I mean,
because 3/4 of those dudes died that went.
Well, yeah. And if you want to look at it like that, I was just thinking to myself, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. You ever done that, by the way?
Shoot fish in a barrel?
It's actually not as easy as you'd think, because after you shoot one, the barrel starts leaking.
There are people like this kid. I went to high school with a bunch of people that talk like this kid talks, that enlisted to go to Iraq, go to Afghanistan, and really talk like that, really feel like that. Very patriotic.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's, again, Bowling for Soup has done so much military stuff. And one of the things that I think that there's a misconception that most people that are in the Army, in the Navy, and whatever, that don't want to be there. It's actually quite the opposite.
No, they're very,
and once they're there, they really don't want to come home.
They keep re-enlisting.
Yeah, they want to stay there and finish what they started.
Well, and they don't want to leave the people that have to stay there.
They don't want to leave their brothers, sisters, whatever, however you word that.
Super noble. I mean, I respect the shit out of those guys.
100%. And you would be surprised how great for the most part, their attitude is, and just the overall morale that we've run into. I mean, we've been in a few places. I mean, the one story, I think I've told you this before, we were in the middle of the Indian Ocean and we played an aircraft carrier.
Right.
And we got there and we played or whatever, and then we did sort of a meet and greet thing. And afterwards the commanding officer came up to us personally, which is common, and he almost had a tear in his eye. And he was like, haven't seen many of these sailors smile in 3 or 4 weeks because we were supposed to go home and they told us to turn back around and we're going out for another 6 months.
Wow.
And these are children. I mean, for the most part, the people working on aircraft carriers, working on the helicopters and the jets and stuff,
they're 18-year-olds.
They are children. Like when they walk in front of you, it's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, like not even finished with puberty yet.
Right.
Like, not even having to shave every day and stuff. And that's just their balls.
Wait, and we have a volunteer army. There's no draft.
We do, yeah.
They signed up.
They did. They did indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so anyway, how about a shout out to the men and women of the armed forces?
Hey, look,
and
you
to
know
say
I
that,
shit on everything.
Yes, you do.
But one of my biggest issues is veterans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't support veterans, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on.
Agreed.
They're sacrificing. Whether you agree with what they get sent to go do or not, they are doing the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're literally out there doing whatever it is that they're doing so that we can fucking do this podcast, so that we can watch, just fucking pick a movie about a fucking superhero that doesn't exist and watch it in the middle of the afternoon.
I don't want to speak Russian. I don't want to speak Chinese.
Well, if you could speak Chinese, you'd have a much better job.
That's maybe true.
It's 100% true. I don't know about Russian.
But I have to like travel a lot, which I don't want to do that.
Well, that could be true.
Where are you from, Mr. Rogers? Is it Tan or Ramos?
For the right file.
No, SMs I'm interested in. It's the 5 tries. But you didn't answer my question. Do you want to kill Nazis?
Is this a test?
Yes.
I don't want to kill anyone. I don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from.
Well, there are already so many big men fighting this war. Maybe what we need now is a little guy. Huh? I can offer you a chance. Only a chance.
I'll take it.
Good. So where is the little guy from? Actually.
Brooklyn.
Congratulations, soldier.
I like it. All right. So here there's a couple of parts coming up where I start to get this movie and The Bourne Identity mixed up.
The Bourne Identity?
Yeah, or one of the Bourne movies. Just like it's like a bookshelf, and then you're in a fucking silver hallway, and there's a doctor speaking German over you, and they're injecting stuff in you, and it's the same fucking movie.
What?
Exactly the same. This might as well be the fucking Bourne Captain America. They should change his name to Steve Bourne.
I'm not following this logic at all.
Have you seen any of the Bourne movies?
All of them.
Jason Bourne's a fucking badass.
Yeah, he's got a new one coming out soon.
Yeah, but is it going to be Matt Damon in it?
Yeah.
It's going to be Matt Damon.
What?
Yeah.
So he's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back.
He
Because he
left-
needs the money. Yeah. Jason Bourne, I need the money.
Matt Damon.
So thank God there's Nazis in this film. There's a group of people that I can talk badly about and not have you go, that's insane, Rich.
Dude, what the fuck why are Germans always up to such something? I mean, like, Germans are always up to some shit.
Because of 2 world wars.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That could be
They
it.
got a bad fucking rap forever now, right? Like, they're always going to be the bad guy.
They have laws that you can't even have Nazi paraphernalia. Like, you can't own it or anything.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I get that. I mean, that's more than a Confederate flag to them. You know, that's genocide.
Well, it's more of let's get rid of our bad rap so that we can exist in the world and not be constantly called Nazis.
Sweep that under the rug. It's like the U.S. with the Native Americans. It's like, hey, we gave you a mountain or two.
It's a little different, but okay.
Missing. The energy we have just collected. It could power my designs. All my designs. This will change the war.
Dr. Zola, this will change the world.
So this is really where you start to see what you were talking about with that actor. I mean, he is fucking amazing.
He's great. Yeah.
He's really good. The Professor Schwartz is really good. Or Dr. Zola.
Dr. Zola is the perfect Dr. Zola, right?
He really is. Like, it's almost like at first, it took a minute not to think, okay, is he animated or something? Like, did they add forehead to the motherfucker? Like, what's going on with this guy? Like, you know, that then you just start to, as you sort of see him more, you know, it's like any other weird looking person, you know, the more you see them, the more normal they start.
You talking about the Agent Smith guy?
I'm talking about the guy in the lab.
The doctor.
Yeah, the doctor.
the doctor.
Dr. Zola, who it's mentioned by Abraham and you know, as being
Lincoln?
like no the guy who gets Steve Rogers, and I can't remember his last name. Anyway, he mentions Dr. Zola and how smart he is, and essentially sets all this up for you. So this would definitely, this is one of the things I was going to tell you. This would have been a good one probably for me to see twice. because there's a lot of shit that happens in dialogue in a real quick minute. It's no Pulp Fiction.
No.
Like it's they give you a lot of information in 4 or 5 of the conversations.
Right.
Where it you can almost just rewind it and watch it again just to sort of pick up what's going on. And obviously, I was able to follow along, but I think it'd be interesting, sort of like a second watch of Game of Thrones keeps coming up. But there's just so much fucking information.
Right. Exactly.
Because I got a few moves I know you'll like.
Agent Carter.
Colonel Phillips.
I can see that you are breaking into candidates. That's good. Get your ass up out of that dirt and stand in that line at attention until somebody comes and tells you what to do.
I love it. Tommy Lee Jones, so good. But I love the fact, too, just with the guys just talking all kinds of shit to obviously somebody who's pretty much in charge of everybody around there.
Right.
And she just goes, put your right foot forward. Because you're about to get your fucking ass knocked out.
I want you off balance.
Yeah, exactly. But it's such a smart thing to do. I thought that was really interesting writing.
And she turns me on, dude.
Yeah, you like her.
Oh, God.
You like the girl punch?
The whole thing. Mm-hmm. The whole package.
Do you like fruit punch?
I don't really.
No? You only like water.
I stay away from juice. Yeah, I do. Water.
What do you have against juice?
Juice is just sugar. It's sugar water.
Oh, you're saying like juice. I thought you were talking about Jews. I'm just like, God, this episode is fucking crazy. Like, we're just dancing around everything over here.
Hodge passed every test we gave. He's big, he's fast, he obeys orders, he's a soldier.
He's a bully.
You don't win wars with niceness, Doctor. You win wars with guts. Grenade! Move, move, move! Get away! Get back!
This scene is awesome.
Did you cry?
No.
Are you serious?
No, I didn't.
I fucking cried every single time it's on the TV, and when I'm doing the clips, when I'm just editing
when
the
he
clips,
jumps on the grenade?
Yes, I fucking cry every time.
No, it was more heroic than but no, I didn't.
Yeah, dude, I get choked up and tears come out every single time I see the scene. And I was worried that I was going to choke up just now because when I was doing the clips and not seeing the video and just editing, like I got choked up on that too. Just listening to it.
You're choking up right now.
I can see it too. You can.
I can't believe he didn't cry at that.
I love when
Did you get choked up at that scene?
A little bit. It's powerful.
It's so powerful. One of the most powerful scenes ever.
Well, I really liked it. I wrote awesome in all caps with 3 exclamation points. But I like as he's walking away and it's just like, okay, prove your point. And Tommy Lee Jones just goes, he's still skinny.
That scene sold the movie to me. This movie is greatness
because of that
scene.
Well, and that does set up exactly who he is and leads you into a few of the things that will happen later.
But more important, the men. The serum amplifies everything that is inside. So good becomes great. Bad becomes worse. This is why you were chosen. Because a strong man who has known power all his life may lose respect for that power. But a weak man knows the value of strength and knows compassion.
He pours the schnapps. He takes the schnapps away, and he just like, okay, well,
I don't have to.
We'll drink it. No, I don't have to. I'll drink it now.
I don't have the procedure tomorrow.
I drink it now.
It's great.
All right, I feel like this is a good time to get into our email box.
Yes.
By the way, you can email us at jaretgoestothemovies@gmail.com, or you can just get on our Jaret Goes to the Movies Facebook and send us a question if you would like to do that as well.
It doesn't even really have to be a question.
It doesn't have to be a question. It could be anything. It could be a statement, a request.
You may even know the answer already, but you just want to get it read on air.
So Chris Coleman, do you know this guy?
He's my brother.
Is it really? Yeah. Is it really your brother?
Yeah.
You love your brother?
It's funny because I answered it in a very professional way. And he goes, oh, I guess Jaret answers the emails? And I go, no, that was me, dumbass.
That's amazing.
How did he spell Coleman?
I corrected that.
Oh,
I corrected it.
Right.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Do you not know how to spell it?
I know how to spell. I was in a hurry.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. So from Chris Coleman, you love your brother?
Do you love your brother?
My name is Chris, longtime listener, first time caller. Anyway, my question is for Jaret. Why would Lorena Bobbitt have put John's penis in a cooler and then throw it out of the car window. I know you hate fact checking, but that doesn't make any sense.
He obviously
Love the
listens.
show.
He obviously
Chris
listens to
Coleman.
the show.
So, Chris, I you know what? I think I made the cooler part up because I don't really. The thing is, I couldn't understand
They put
why.
it in the cooler when they found it.
That's what it was.
Right.
So I had the cooler in the wrong order, but
She just had it in the passenger seat.
She had it in the passenger seat, and I actually thought she threw it into the middle of an intersection, but she threw it into a field. And
Which is what the Howard Stern recreation, what I was talking about in that episode,
Right.
is what they did. Yeah.
But I will say this: it was a 9-hour operation to reattach it.
Can you imagine? And it's probably not even all that great.
No, I think it looks funny. It's kind of like on there sideways and stuff. Like I've seen reattached fingers.
Well,
and
he did a porno, right?
he did, yeah.
I don't know if you can get that now. Maybe you can.
I'm
Is
sure
that
you
on
can.
YouPorn?
Can't you get
I bet it's on
anything,
Pornhub.
anywhere? Can't
I
you
bet
get-
it is. Do it.
It's got to be able. Let's make sure.
Let's just make sure. We can't go to sleep tonight until we
It's
make
just
sure
on
that it's
Google
on there.
Images, right?
Yep, I got it. Oh, sure. Yeah, it's just
It
right
is
there.
on there.
If you just search John Bobbitt porn, click on videos, it's just right there.
Wow. Did they show the
Just
Frankie
right
penis
there.
and everything?
I'm going to let you know. Oh, it is on Pornhub, so hopefully one day they will be a sponsor. It is an hour and 16 minutes.
An hour and 16
Yeah,
minutes?
they have the full thing.
Are they
so-
sewing it up on the porn?
Now, he must just be in a clip in this or something because there's, oh no, he's with like several different women is what's going on.
Do they show the
I'm seeing if I
sewing?
can get a good look at the.
Yeah, let's see the
He's in a
Franken-
nurse's office.
Well, of course. Why would
So,
I mean, you're not going to.
oh, you know what? I think he does like a whole story of like it getting cut off or something.
Oh, it's like a porn of it happening.
Yeah, it's called
That's
John
not good.
Wayne Bobbitt Uncut.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah, so.
Oh, man.
But anyway, I'm just going to see if I can get a good look at it.
Yeah, get a good look at it. By the way.
Okay, now he's getting a foot rub. You like those where they just like grab your penis with their feet, kind of go.
Hey, it feels great. It's
Right.
not going to do anything extra for me.
Right.
It could be 3 pillows from a
Understood.
couch. You know. What I
Yeah.
mean?
But yeah, he gets busy with quite a few different females. And yeah, you get to see the amazing surgery performed by those heroic doctors. So if you're so inclined, go ahead and because if you're like me, I mean, the first thing that happened when China died, I just got right up. Right,
Is she in porn?
Oh yeah, you've never seen it?
No.
You have to see her clitoris.
Okay.
Because it looks like a penis.
Oh.
So when me and Casey
man.
first discovered that, like everybody that would come over would be like, "Dude, have you seen China's clitoris?"
Everybody that came over.
Everybody. And then there's this one that there's
kids,
this one
go play. We
there's
gotta
this,
show your
this
parents something.
there's this one video she's in, and it actually is kind of like, okay, we could, you know what? I think I could watch this. And then all of a sudden they just show the dude, and he's just this greasy looking, just gross, and it's just like gross. And so
is it
ends
widely
badly.
known that she was in porn? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, it's widely known. I think she went through some hard times. But anyway, Chris, thank you for your question. You're exactly right. I was misquoted, and I misquoted myself basically.
And stop fact checking him.
Yeah, you know what? It's okay. You're family.
Vital signs are normal. That's 50%. 60. 70.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
Kill the reactor, Mr. Stark! Turn it off! Kill it! Kill the reactor!
No! Don't! I can do this!
This did it too. I cried at this one too. No, I can do it. I
Yeah.
fucking just was like, gulp.
I can do it.
How did this not choke you up?
I was still laughing because before he jumped into the thing, he was like, "Is it too late to take a piss?"
Yeah,
I was like,
it is. Okay, hit him with everything. Yeah, no, I will say that was very, very powerful.
So powerful.
Very, very powerful.
I mean,
But not like tear up
even
powerful.
doing the audio clips, wasn't even watching the movie. I got choked up on this.
Yeah,
scene.
love it. And so he comes out of the thing, and his pants still fit, as we discussed earlier. A little shorter, but the waist is the same.
Right, yeah. They were baggy when he went in. They were like like they didn't even have pants.
They didn't
that
even
small.
have his size.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, maybe that's the thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, then all hell breaks loose in here.
Well, before that happens, he gets out. Everyone's kind of going, "Holy crap, it worked!" And Haley Atwell walks up to him.
Yeah.
She almost
reaches up for the pictorials.
That was improvised.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
When she does it twice.
Yeah,
in the movie. So that's interesting that's what that was. But then all hell breaks loose. Obviously, a guy has found his way in to steal the serum.
Right.
And we see
shoots Tucci.
Yeah, and we see Captain America for the first time,
kicking it old school.
So the chase things happens through the streets of New York City, and I love the fact that he's so fast.
Yes!
He hasn't figured out how to turn yet. So
I have that note right here.
He takes the turn and just right into the wedding dress store. So I hadn't quite figured that one out yet, you know.
And then when the guy throws the kid in the water,
right.
and he has to choose: do I go after the bad guy, or do I save the kid? And then he chooses the kid, and the kid's like, "No, I can swim.
Yeah, go get him. I can swim." And why does the ginger kid always have to get picked on?
I know.
They always pick on the little ginger kid.
He probably had asthma.
Interestingly enough, so that's Pier 13 in New York. In
okay. So you
Hoboken.
recognize the...
Yeah, so that's like a whole, an entertainment thing now. It's like... It's food trucks.
I've never been in New York City.
All of that stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting spot. There's a lot of those kind of places where they used to use the harbor, and now they've just taken all the piers and built them out for different things. It's, San Francisco is the same way.
Yeah, right.
Hitler speaks of 1,000-year Reich, but he cannot feed his armies for a month. His troops spill their blood across every field in Europe, but still he is no closer to achieving his goals.
And I suppose you still aim to win this war through magic?
Science, but I understand your confusion. Great power has always baffled primitive men. Hydra is assembling an arsenal to destroy my enemies in one stroke, wherever they are, regardless of how many forces they possess, all in a matter of hours.
Your enemies?
My weapons contain enough destructive power to decimate every hostile capital on Earth.
The interesting thing that I found about this character in and of himself was that you don't ever see movies where there's a high-up German official who is still wanting to take over the world over, but has any sort of ill feelings towards the Fuhrer at all.
Right.
He's actually
you
talking
weren't allowed
about
to.
him. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he's like, hey, he can't even feed anybody.
Right.
And that's interesting insight because we didn't know that. We just
Right.
thought that they were just fucking moving through and powering. But obviously they were growing weak.
Right.
And every day, all the time. But I found that to be really interesting. And then obviously the guy, who's coming to see the weapons test looks at the map and is like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Berlin is
this
on this. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's talk about Hail Hydra right now.
Okay.
So Hail Hydra is basically the Heil Hitler with two hands. So it's basically like, we did it.
The we did it of Nazism.
Hooray! It is. It's like
they're a little presumptuous.
It's the we did it. And you're like, not yet.
So let's actually talk about this weapon.
Okay.
So this weapon makes you disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does it just blow you to smithereens?
I don't know what it does, but it basically vanishes you.
Right.
It's not even automatic.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in World War II. We have machine guns, but this weapon isn't even automatic. You have to shoot in single bursts.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically shooting one person and you're making them disappear. So it really doesn't buy you much. Like a machine gun, you could spray across and kill 50 people
and that
at
happens.
once.
That happens in the battle scene where they come in with the machine guns. And
right.
sort
But
of
this
overpower
gun,
'em.
you can only shoot one at a time. Like, pew!
So this is also where it kind of got a little confusing to me. So that weapon has the serum in it?
No, it doesn't have the serum. It has the Tesseract.
It has the
cube
same
power.
blue liquid.
The
though.
serum isn't the Odin god thing. This is the serum is a man-made substance that Stanley Tucci invented.
Okay.
The Tesseract cube, Homeboy just found and is using that to power his weapon.
And then, but what's powering him? What does he have in him?
He had the serum that Stanley Tucci invented, but as Tucci said, it brings out what you already have inside of you. Right. So he was a bad person, so it brought out the demon inside of him or whatever, and
he
that's
went
why he looks like what he looks like. Yeah.
He went full retard.
Yeah, he went full retard. Never go full retard.
He went 100%.
Exactly.
And Steve Rogers' thing, it blew up before he got to 100%, right?
No, it wasn't that. It was because Steve Rogers was so good that it brought out more good in him.
More good. Like he's like fucking popped out and like fucking daisies came out of his ass.
Exactly. So back to this weapon.
Yeah.
All right, it's not automatic. It just makes you disappear.
Okay.
So you're not really getting I don't see the benefit of this weapon other than there's no mess to clean up.
Well, I think it's more accurate too once as far as he's concerned because he's shooting it with his mind.
No, he's not.
Oh yeah, he says
pressing
that.
a trigger.
No, the one dude is saying I'm learning to use this weapon with my thoughts. It's a thought-powered weapon.
Totally didn't remember
So
that.
whenever he shoots those three dudes, he like focuses on them, and then you can see it once the one where he misses or whatever, and he's like
wasn't thinking
he's
clearly.
shooting something. But anyway, he's shooting them with his mind.
They give the weapons to like all the armies,
all
and they
the
have
stormtroopers and shit.
But it's just shooting one single burst. That's my point. Is the whole weapon? You're not getting anything. It's just less mess.
Right.
Which makes sense because Germans are very efficient.
That's true.
The enlistment lines have been around the block since your picture hit the newsstands. You don't take a soldier, a symbol like that, and hide him in a lab. Son, do you want to serve your country on the most important battlefield of the war?
Sir, that's all I want.
Then congratulations. You just got promoted.
To the suckiest job in the world.
So, but as the campaign goes, he essentially becomes Uncle Sam.
Right.
You know, he's the recruitment for the military, and he's just the glamour behind it all, whatever, of, how fighting for your country and investing in your country, yada.
The American propaganda.
That thing, but the thing that I didn't know that I thought made it kind of cool is that there's comic books and TV shows and movies about him, and that's who it's like one of those mirrors that has a mirror next to it, and you look into it, and it keeps going, and you just fucking infant little light bulbs.
All of mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comic book they showed was the actual 1941 comic book.
I thought
First edition.
Yeah, I thought that's because I think I've read that. Not really, I haven't read it. It's funny because at first you don't really realize what's happening. I mean, is this just them presenting him for the first time, and then the chorus of girls, and he starts to get into it a little bit more, and it's working great. It's working great over here.
I honestly feel like we can never win a war ever again because of the differences between that time and this time. America has not won a war since the media, like the television or media, has existed. World War II, World War I, we won those because of propaganda like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we sent people over going, we've got to support our troops. No one knew what was really going on over there. If anyone knew that so many, the amount of people that were dying,
mm-hmm.
never would have won those wars. We would have been out. We were like, whoa, we don't want to do that.
Right.
Let Hitler have fucking Europe. We don't care about Europe. Fuck them. You know what I mean? We're over here. But now with the television, like Vietnam, when you're showing video, what's happening in Vietnam, you can't have people on board. People are not going to get on board. People are not going to get on board with Iraq and Afghanistan because we see what's going on. And so the hearts and minds over here that have to support everything that needs to be supported,
right.
It just can't happen anymore. You can't win a war now. It's impossible.
I don't know if it's impossible, but it's definitely changed. But everything's changed. So the way that wars are fought are changed. It's not... nobody's storming the beach at Normandy anymore. That's not a thing.
Nope.
Those kind of things don't exist right now. And, thank God. Those were terrible, terrible fucking events. And, but, I don't know. I mean, we won the war on Iraq, and that one was all on TV. It was live. The whole thing.
You're talking about the day. We didn't.
Yeah, the first one. That it was at 100 hours or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if we won it. I mean, we didn't lose.
Well, the two countries declared war on one another, and we left Saddam Hussein in power, didn't we? So
Bring back the girls!
I think they only know the one song, but I'll see what I can do.
You do that, sweetheart.
Nice boots, Tinkerbell.
Yeah, so I mean, you're putting this fictional sort of mascot in front of people who just barely got out with their lives,
Right.
and really all they want to see is dancing girls.
How
I get it.
many? How many USO shows have you done? Is it just the India ship, or? Did
Oh,
you do other shows?
no. I mean, 30.
Wow.
I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we did 3 weeks in Asia where we were literally flying to a different spot every day, and then I've done separate trips to Italy and Gitmo and Japan, and we've done a lot. Guam.
What's Guam like?
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's really, really nice. I mean, to be fair, we didn't really get to do a bunch. We kind of got there
In and out.
late at night. We got shown to our rooms or whatever. Then we played the show the next day, and then the next night we found some friends and all ended up in the ocean. And
Were you
it was
worried
a fun
about
time.
the island tipping over?
No, but that's a thing, right? Like, isn't that a deal? Like, there's
There was
something
a-
real fucked up about Guam, right?
There was a congressman that said something about Guam and something about it tipping over.
Yeah, because you can't have too many soldiers on it.
Yeah, they wanted to pull the soldiers off because
it's
would
going to
tip
tip over. Yeah,
it's a great YouTube clip.
That's amazing.
Are you planning a rescue mission?
Yeah, it's called winning the war.
But if you know where they are, why not at
They're
least
30 miles behind the lines. Through some of the most heavily fortified territory in Europe. We'd lose more men than we'd save. But I don't expect you to understand that because you're a chorus girl.
I think I understand just fine.
Well, then understand it somewhere else. If I read the posters correctly, you got someplace to be in 30 minutes.
Chorus girl, man. And Tommy Lee Jones
Why
has
is
been
he being
involved.
such a dick?
I know he's been involved in this guy's development from the start.
He knows what's up.
He knows exactly what's going on, and he's a chorus girl.
Well, Tommy Lee Jones is always a dick.
Yeah, but he's a good dick, kind of like Rich's.
You can't not like him.
Rich
Well,
is a
you know
good
what?
dick.
I have not liked the movie he's in, and that's called Batman with Val
Oh
Kilmer.
shit! Yeah.
Oh, what does he play? Two-Face?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you didn't
horrible.
like that?
I rewatched it recently. It was really, really bad.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good Tommy Lee Jones
Oh
movies,
god,
though.
yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's
great.
a good dude.
Have you ever been behind enemy lines?
Yeah, of course. We did. Well, I mean, we were on. I've been in active war zones,
Right.
but on military bases. But
Right.
when outside of Bahrain, over in the Middle East, I stood on a Patriot missile. I have pictures of it. I could actually post
You're not
that.
supposed to stand on those. They fire those. So if they fired them when you were standing on it,
that would have been. Well, they warned us. They did say. Actually did say, hey, if we need to fire the fucking thing, you better jump off. But there's this whole camp that's all they did is a really small camp, and they just had all these Patriot missiles just aimed in different areas or whatever. And I stood on one of those. And
Afghanistan or
no, it's Bahrain. It was
Where's
in
Bahrain?
It's just in the Middle East, and we've tried to go to Afghanistan a few times, but it's just never really worked out. It's a timing thing. You have to really commit early to it, and that's hard. Planning something 9 months in advance like that is pretty hard to do. But we have done our fair share, and I'm proud of everything we've done.
Yeah.
Agent Carter, if we're not in too much of a hurry, I thought we could stop off in Lucerne for a late-night fondue.
Stark is the best civilian pilot I've ever seen. He's mad enough to brave this airspace. We're lucky to have him.
So are you too. Do you fondue?
So do you guys fondue?
So he didn't know what fondue actually meant, or I guess that was his.
You got to think about when that was. Was fondue really a thing over here yet?
I don't know.
Because fondue was kind of
it's French, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and fondue was kind of a fad here in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't
it's an
know what fondue
Anchorman thing. That is good fondue. Did your family ever do fondue?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I think we did it a few times. To me, it just seemed like work.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's a lot of work and it's terrible tasting.
You don't like it?
No.
Why?
It's fucking bread with cheese all over it.
Yeah, well, you can do
And
you can
like
do
you
meats
said, it's a
and
lot
stuff.
of work. It's just bread and cheese.
Yeah.
Like you're getting filet mignon.
What don't you like about bread or cheese or the combination of the two?
Like I said,
Yeah, you're fucking stumped. Fondue's fucking great. Is what you're trying to
terrible.
say. I haven't had it in so long.
I've never had it either.
I do have a fondue maker that we've had for quite some time.
Was it a wedding gift?
Maybe I don't remember. It might have been one of the unused appliances that I got in the divorce, but we could always break that thing out and just see what the fuck happens.
Who are you supposed to be? Captain America.
Beg your pardon? What are we taking, everybody?
I'm from Fresno, Ace.
Is there anybody else? I'm looking for a Sergeant James Barnes.
There's an isolation ward in the factory, but no one's ever come back from it.
The tree line is northwest, 80 yards past the gate. Get out fast and give him hell. I'll meet you guys in the clearing with anybody else I find.
Wait. You know what you're doing?
Yeah. I've knocked that Adolf Hitler over 200 times.
Best line in the movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like leading up to that, I'm from Fresno, Ace.
Yeah,
it was pretty amazing because he's definitely, typecasting that motherfucker on his way out. Hey, let's give a shout out to our producers. The producers of the show are David Murray, Ashley C., Sheila Ray Wonder, Wendy Croft, and Diane Small. Diane Small got moved up with the new pay grade.
Oh, okay.
And so it was really fun. The other day we had Dave, Sheila, and Wendy on a Google Hangout, and we got to talk about our day, and we had some beers, and
for an hour and a half.
It was fun. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, that's one of the things that you can get on the support us tab.
If you think we're cool enough, okay, let me rephrase it. If you think Jared is cool enough to hang out
everybody
with for an hour and a
loves
half,
you. Everybody loves you.
Well,
You are deluded, Captain. You pretend to be a simple soldier, but in reality, you are just afraid to admit that we have left humanity behind. Unlike you, I embrace it proudly. Without fear. Then how come you're running?
This is the best line of the movie, and this line is so good. It applies to every other bad guy in the world. Like, it's, okay, tough guy, if you're so badass, why are you running all the time? Like, why are we trying to find these motherfuckers if they're just so fucking good at everything and just good at being bad? Like, why don't they just fucking face these?
Because I like my helicopter rocket thing that I get in.
Right.
That
I guess so. I thought, then why are you running was amazing.
So apparently all Marvel ships with single cockpits have no room for an extra person.
Right.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy couldn't fit two people in those things.
Right.
This rocket helicopter thing can't fit two people in those things either.
Got it.
You got to go take the car. Here's the keys.
So
don't get it scratched.
So if I'm getting this right, Goose would have no job.
No job in these.
No job. He would be fucking sweeping up the barracks.
Right. So we fully see Red Skull.
Right.
In this motherfucker now.
Right.
And you kind of saw him the whole time, sort of itching at the little crease in his fake skin, I guess, that he made up for himself.
Yeah.
And now we know why. He's got a big red face
with
no nose.
Speaking of that, so Milo the other day had a visit from his red rocket, and the kids...
You're talking about his penis.
Were trying to figure out what was going on. And so Everett came up and said, Daddy... Milo has a red thing hanging out of his bottom. And Jack is 10, and Jack comes up and is laughing and goes, Dad, I think Milo has a poop stuck in his butt. And I'm like, Jack, that's not coming out of his butt. And he sort of half smiles, and I'm like, it's not coming out of his butt. Son, it's not coming out of his butt. He just goes, oh, right. And Emma's just dying laughing the whole time, right?
She's not.
Yeah, she's 13. She's seen the fucking videos. And what?
What kind of videos are you showing her?
Oh, she just gets on Pornhub, whatever she wants. It's fine. But so then Everett just goes, yeah, he just has to go outside and poop, Everett. Jack says that to Everett, and he lets the dog out, whatever. But poor, man, I was getting worried about Milo. It was kind of, out for a while. I was thinking if it was
Is he
if it would have
neutered?
been longer than 4 hours, I would have had to call the vet. Because that's what you do.
Is
right?
he neutered?
He is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it still
You have to
comes-
call the vet if it's out more than 4 hours?
That was a Viagra joke.
Oh. I'm an idiot. God damn it. I walked right into that one.
I see your top squad is prepping for duty.
You don't like music?
I do, actually. I might, even when this is all over, go dancing.
Then what are we waiting for?
The right partner. 0800, Captain.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there.
I'm invisible. I'm turning into you. It's like a horrible dream.
Don't take it so hard. Maybe she's got a friend.
Jaret,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And be completely 100% serious.
Okay, go.
Haley Atwell walking into the room in this dress.
Yeah.
Is Cameron Diaz or Miley Cyrus or Julie Bowen in the Happy Place? Any of these people that you've dogged on me for going, I'm not really into that.
Whoa.
Is anywhere close to how hot she is?
First of all, I called Miley Cyrus. She looks like a lesbian.
I'm just saying.
Second of all, did I harp? I said Cameron Diaz. I don't think I get it. I think I harped on you because
name a person.
I
that
think
is
you
better looking than
pointed
her.
out physical attributes that people can't help. And it's
What does that got to do with anything?
Well, I get it if it's like a body part or something that's just fucked up, but it's like I think you were just getting. I don't know. I think you're misquoting me just a smidge.
This scene when she walks out in this dress,
She looked great. She looked really great.
More than great.
She looked really good.
This was phenomenal.
She looked phenomenal. Yeah,
Fucking
she did. Yeah, she looked
phenomenal.
really nice. She looked really nice.
All right,
She
I'm done
was
with you.
dressed in a fitted dress that was right to her size and made up perfectly, and she looked nice. Yeah, she did.
She looked nice.
Yeah, and don't fucking ever compare somebody that looks like this to Miley Cyrus. That's
No
never even a
chance.
thing out of my fucking mouth ever.
We're ready for you, if you're not otherwise occupied.
Agent Carter, wait.
Looks like finding a partner wasn't that hard after all.
Peggy, that's not what you thought it was.
I don't think anything, Captain, not one thing. You always wanted to be a soldier, and now you are, just like all the rest.
But what about you and Stark? How do I know you two haven't been fonduing?
You still don't know a bloody thing about women.
So the
really
funny thing is,
doesn't.
and so that back up just a smidge. So the kiss that got interrupted is the fucking husband killer from Game of Thrones. With the crooked smile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, total hots for that girl.
She actually has. That's a thing. She has this one side of her mouth goes up, so she has this sort of like perma grin thing.
Really?
Yeah, and she does love to show her boobs.
I love.
She
to
just
see her
gets them
boobs.
out all the time.
By the way, love to see them.
Love to see. I love.
No, she's hot, dude.
At
She's
the end
super
of,
hot. She's in Hunger Games, part 2 and 3, or
Haven't
part
seen that.
3, part 1 and 2.
As they're walking away from this conversation, you just hear. By the way, fondue is cheese and bread.
And that's what I was like. Did he really not know what fondue was? I thought he was just using that as a euphemism, also. But no, he actually thought it meant what it was, and yeah.
Well, I think that was the joke.
But I didn't get the joke until she said cheese and bread, and I was like, oh.
No, what I'm saying is nobody thought that he was using it. Everybody thought he was using it as a euphemism until this conversation.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, and in this conversation, you realize, oh shit, he doesn't know what fondue is.
Right, he thought it was in the actual.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. All right, so he kisses this girl. It's probably his first kiss, right? I mean, he didn't kiss anybody when he was like teensy tiny dude.
Yeah, I think thus him being so taken aback and kind of caught off guard by it.
He could have kissed Haley Atwell and been the only person that he ever kissed. When I was thinking about it, I was like, oh my God, you kissed some random girl. You could have been kissing the girl you love and been your first kiss and only kiss.
He's a man, Rich. He's
true.
fucking sowing the royal oats. He's just out there just doing what he can.
Fuck it, I'll kiss whoever
If you
wants
saw
it.
the way the rest of his body changed, imagine what that ding dong looks like. He's just like, I'm going to show the world.
Haley Atwell would have reached out and tried to touch that as well.
No shit, right? But it would have fucking reached back.
What about this one?
No, that's just a prototype.
What's it made of?
Vibranium. It's stronger than steel and a third the weight. It's completely vibration absorbent.
How come it's not standard issue?
That's the rarest metal on Earth. What you're holding there, that's all we've got.
You quite finished, Mr. Stark? I'm sure the captain has some unfinished business.
What do you think?
Yes, I think it works.
Yep. We took the rarest metal in the world, made a prototype shield out of it that we don't want anyone to use ever.
Right. And then
what the fuck?
Yeah. And then
that's all the metal in the entire world.
This is it. Yeah, this is a prototype.
And you know what? We didn't do anything else, but we made a shield that, don't even touch that one. We don't even want you to play around with that one. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
That definitely didn't make a lot of sense. Here's the thing that did throw me, though. So he picks out the shield thing, and just all of a sudden, it's a boomerang, too. You know, like he never, he didn't have to work on it or anything.
Right. He's super good at geometry as well, so he was able to measure angles.
Are you being serious right now?
No, I don't.
Okay, because that really would have made sense. Because some of like the bouncing that thing off of stuff,
right,
and hitting people in the neck or whatever is
Well, he started out in the comics with that stupid shield that he used in the dress. Matter of fact, the dress up where he dressed up to do the chorus line thing, that was the actual comic book.
Yeah, that's what he looked like. Yeah.
And then they changed over time.
Right. Into the more military.
They got in trouble because that shield looked like some other character from some other comic book. His name was the Shield, and it looked like his shield, and so they changed it to the circle, which is amazing because now he can throw it around, and that's what he did in the comics.
Yeah, and he didn't do that before.
Right.
With the
because that
wouldn't have gone anywhere.
No.
Well, it would have gone somewhere, but
it would have just floated straight down.
And that thing coming back, it would have been jagged. You know, like you just never know what end you're going to catch. It's like trying to juggle machetes.
Let's get going because they're moving like the devil.
We only got about a 10-second window. You missed that window. We're bugs on a windshield.
Mind the gap.
Better get moving, bugs.
Mind the gap, Jaret.
Mind the gap.
I didn't get that joke when you told it. I had to go look that up. And what the fuck is he talking about?
Did you?
Mind the gap, yeah.
Yeah, so do you know what Mind the Gap is?
Mind the gap is, now I know.
Yeah.
It's a thing that's commonly, and my dad knew it right away when I mentioned it to him because he's been to England a lot. But it's something that's written on all of the subway. There's a gap between the subway, the train, and the step.
Right. And so it says Mind the gap. So,
everywhere.
and then it was like a big thing. You know, the sign is very recognizable. It's this red circle with a blue line from it. It says Mind the Gap in the middle. So there were a lot of spoof shirts. Like I think this is like an 80s thing. A lot of T-shirts said Mind the Gap and all that. But to be honest, I really didn't know what it was. It's one of those things where I got over there
that,
and
in New York
saw
where
it.
they have trains and stuff?
It doesn't. I don't think it says Mind the Gap. It might, but it's definitely a United Kingdom thing. I think it's pretty much just a UK thing. You know, in New York, I think the way that it lines up is a little bit different.
Which is funny because you know how when you hear something that you didn't know what it meant, and then
you hear it all the time.
Yeah. And so it never even struck me, but as soon as I heard it in this movie, I'm like, that's what Jaret said about the Mind the Gap in the London thing on the Goonies episode.
Yeah.
And it like popped right out to me.
That's funny.
Instantly.
Yeah. No, so I wondered if you would pick up on that and where that came from.
Yep.
Schmidt believes he walks in the footsteps of the gods. Only the world itself will satisfy him.
You do realize that's nuts, don't you?
The sanity of the plan is of no consequence.
Then why is that?
Because he can do it.
What's his target?
His target is everywhere.
I fucking love the meal. They bring him a steak, fucking potatoes and broccoli and set it in front of him, just a glass of milk. And he's just like, what is this? He goes, it's steak. He's like, what's in it? Cow. That steak did look good. I'd have fucking Tommy Lee Jones the shit out of that
I just
thing.
love. He's like, you don't want it. I'm gonna sit here and
he's like, you know how rare
this
this cut of beef is over here? This is impossible.
Hydra's last base is here, in the Alps, 500 feet below the surface.
So what are we supposed to do? It's not like we can just knock on the front door.
Why not?
That's exactly what we're going to do. Dun dun.
So I'm pretty sure that this lair is modeled after what's called the Eagle's Nest in Berchtesgaden, Germany.
Okay.
You ever been to Berchtesgaden?
No, I don't believe I have.
I've been there, and it was Hitler's lair.
Okay.
It's in the top of this mountain. It's built inside of the mountain.
And what, you can tour it?
Yeah, you can go in and tour it. And right now they have like a bunch of airplanes and stuff hanging inside of there. It's a huge lair. I mean, it's a fucking lair.
Like a cave.
Yeah.
And he had like bedrooms in there and shit?
It is inside the mountain. And it's a big, huge building. I guess it's an office building. It's got giant atriums and stuff. And they actually have planes and shit in there, like hanging from the, displayed in there and stuff. It's enormous. But it was one of the things that we visited and toured in Germany that really stuck out at me.
I would think so. That sounds incredible. Just,
Yeah, it totally was.
I mean, I've toured like the Mayan ruins, and they didn't have fucking airplanes.
Also, why do we call Germany Germany? Because they don't call Germany. Germans don't call their country Germany. Why don't we call it Deutschland or Dutchland or whatever?
Deutschland, but
why do we call it Germany?
They do call it Germany, though,
they never
when they're
call it
talking to us.
It's a translation, but they don't call America something different. They call it America.
Or the United States.
Or United States.
Yeah. So we have two names, and so do they.
Well, I mean, we say America, but it's the United States of America.
Right.
I mean, that's the only. They're just shortening. It's
Right.
it's like us calling it land because it's Deutschland.
We could just call it Deutsch.
But you know what I mean? It's like why do we call countries different names? It's not like there's a different, like a cow. When two countries with two different languages have cows, they name it. This is a cow, and then this is a cow.
But what about Holland, Netherlands?
Well, Netherlands is an area, right? It's not.
I always got that confused because
Holland is not. The Netherlands is more than just Holland, right?
I don't know.
The Netherlands is Holland is okay. So Holland used to be a part of the Netherlands.
Yeah, because that's like Denmark is the Netherlands.
There's
more than just
so Holland
one.
is in there. Yeah.
But like Germany, we call Germany, but they call themselves Deutschland. Why don't we just call them Deutschland? What's the big deal? Why don't we just say they're Deutschland?
So Germany is not used in Germany for the name of the country, and neither is Alemania, which are also utilized throughout the world, though they are both certainly recognized at sports events or just abroad. The Germans were essentially a bunch of tribes annoying the Romans a while back.
There was a Germanian tribe, right?
In this historic way, the term is normally used and understood in Germanian, exactly, as you said. So apparently it just kind of got... That was sort of like the tribe. And again, these Alemanias, and then so there were also Saxons.
Right, yeah.
And then some Slavic things that you cannot even fucking pronounce. So herein just lies, I think what happens is sometimes too is that countries get called something throughout the world, and that's just what it becomes,
sticks.
right?
Yeah.
There are limits to what even you can do, Captain. Or did Erskine tell you otherwise?
He told me you were insane.
He resented my genius and tried to deny me what was rightfully mine, but he gave you everything. So, what made you so special?
Nothing. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
He does have a cool voice,
Yeah.
I mean, like it's just, and especially in those situations.
What a great line too. And as someone from Texas, a kid from Brooklyn, I'm totally fine with being synonymous with the toughest kid in the world. I'm totally fine with that. It totally worked for me.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I was just in New York this week, and it is funny how they're just everybody walks around like they've got a fucking chip on their
kid
shoulder.
from Brooklyn is like a hipster kid, but back in the 40s,
even just up there though, what I'm saying is that everybody walks around with a chip on their shoulder. Everybody's like they're just you're not. You don't get a smile walking down the street.
Do you think
just
I
for the
would
case
fare
of
well in New York? Do you think I have a New York sensibility?
No, I don't.
Really?
I really don't. I actually don't think that you would fare well in a lot of northern places, especially New York and Chicago, especially.
Because you think I'd get my ass kicked?
Yeah,
or
because they don't have a filter. So I
don't have a filter, so that's what I'm saying.
I think you would. No, they don't have a filter for. They say what they mean too,
Right.
But I think you say what you mean a little bit differently than them. Like,
Okay.
I think they would probably take it as being a little bit offensive.
Okay.
And probably want to snap you in the face.
They wouldn't respect my
Probably not.
non-filter as well.
That's just me. I mean, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I mean, New York, there's everybody's there, and
All kinds.
it does take all kinds. So who knows, man?
What do they say? Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Please headed to bomb New York. If I don't force it down now, a lot of people are gonna die. I gotta put her in the water.
Please, don't do this. We have time. We can work it out. Just turn the plane around.
I wish I could, but there's just no time. It's just on the cards, you know?
What do you mean? Do you not have control of the plane?
No, I've got control.
Are the bombs set to explode on a timer? Can you not disarm them?
I actually got rid of most of them already. They're not even bombs, really. More like these tiny little airplanes with ejector seats and everything. I even flew one.
You what?
Nothing. You know, they even painted the names of the cities in bright plain English, too.
But why do you want it in English, sir? We are German.
Do not question my genius.
Then why can't you pilot one of the bombs back here before the plane crashes?
That sure sounds nice. It's just too late.
You turn that plane around right now.
Can't do it.
You are being absurd.
I'm gonna need a rain check on that dance, Peggy.
You're not even going to look for a parachute. Something. Just right into the ground.
I really wanted to take you dancing.
I'm really starting to doubt your interest in this relationship.
Oh, I'm so alone up here with no option of survival. It's so heartbreaking. The plane's going down.
You know what? Fine. Crash your stupid plane. Freeze to death if that's what you want. See if I care.
It's so sad. I don't want to freeze to death. Thanks for the muscles, but it's too late now.
The fuck did we just listen to?
This was how it should have ended.
Yeah.
It's the animated thing where they take the ending of the movie and go, this is how it should have ended.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty fucking spot on.
It's totally spot on because, like, dude, you're over the Arctic. You've got hours.
Yeah.
There's no way you're getting to New York in like 30 minutes, even if you're over the North Pole right now. Because I see you on the map. You're over the Arctic. You've got plenty of time.
And the missile planes are very neatly labeled with the city on that. That's just so funny. Like,
just in case an American
Chicago,
gets on.
yeah. So funny. I found that to be almost, almost like slapstick.
Yeah.
But comic booky.
Yeah.
You got to remember that you're watching a comic book. And I said that during our last one of these that we did too.
Look, I'm sorry about that little show back there, but we thought it best to break it to you slowly.
Break what?
You've been asleep, Cap, for almost 70 years. You gonna be okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a date.
How come when somebody wakes up from a coma, there's always a glass of water sitting beside the bed? Like,
because you need water.
I know, but it's just been, how long has it been sitting there? Like, just like the picture.
Because if it's been over a day, there's definitely bacteria in that water.
You know what? I do that though. I leave it by the nightstand and then I'll drink it
in an open glass
and drink it like 2 or 3 days later.
No, you can do it in like a cup with a straw because bacteria it won't go through the straw.
No, I drink it just an open cup.
That's
all the
why
time.
you get all those stomach bugs.
That's probably
Could be why.
Oh,
seriously,
my
I'm
God.
not even kidding.
It's probably why I got the pig HIV.
Well, I don't know about
I
that.
need to quit doing that. I got to quit doing
don't
that.
drink water that's been sitting there for 12 hours.
I shouldn't have done that.
There is definitely stuff in the water.
Cool. Well, man, this has been a lot of fun. Tim, I'm glad you got to join us, and hope everything pans out. And, I took a night off from the beer, so I feel like I'm a little calmer than normal right now.
You're very calm.
Well, it could be this movie, too. It's fucking calm movie.
Last week, I was definitely the drunkest person in the room.
Yes, 100%.
And this week, I've had 2.5 beers,
Yeah.
and I'm still
the drunkest person in the room. Yeah. But last week, you fucking passed out on the red
Oh my
couch
God.
before I was even done editing which I don't edit. I just have to bounce everything down and export it.
So that's
for
why you're
Rich.
here till fucking 5
so
in the
he
morning.
spent the night here.
God.
And
Till
so,
7, actually.
Yeah.
So I was here till 7.
everybody check out JaretGoesToTheMovies.com and follow us on Twitter at Jaret Movies. And thanks as always for listening, guys. If you like this episode, why not check out some more? Again, go to patreon.com or just JaretGoesToTheMovies.com and support the cause.
See you down the road.
Stop doing my shit. Tim, we'll see you later. Rich, see you later. Next week is
Purple Rain.
Purple Rain,
which
in memory of Prince.
Have a lot. I watched half of the movie, or 3/4 of the movie already.
Yeah,
just to kind of see what we were getting ourselves into. Plenty to talk about.
Oh, definitely plenty to talk about. So, guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you down the road.